Last week I talked about better ways to give. This week we're going to talk about better ways to care for each other. And that will allow you not to break the bank when you want to give a gift which will have tremendous deep meaning to someone. Ready to give the love that people you care for truly desire? My name is Greg Angelbert. I'm a life and personal finance coach. I share what I know about personal finance and coaching on a cup of coffee to help you live a life of purpose and build up your wealth. Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages, which gives us a simple and tested way to understand the love we want to be given and that others crave for. By love, we can understand how do we want to be cared for, and in return, how should we care for others. Language here refers to the fact that love can be seen as a way that we interact with each other, a bit like a language. And you might be speaking a different language from somebody else. So if you want to communicate your care for them, you need to be able to speak their love language. The 5 love languages are acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, and physical touch. We all tend to have one primary love language and also a secondary one. If your love language is acts of services, you focus on the things that you do for others and the things that others do for you. The goal here is to lighten the burden for the persons that you're trying to help. It's to make sure that you're doing something a little bit unexpected for them. And the more unexpected it is, the more they will appreciate it. Examples in life can be mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, or getting up in the middle of the night to take care of the little one crying so your partner can stay in bed. At work, you can imagine that you're trying to help a colleague who is having problem finishing a task and they can't get home to be with their family. Or you can be washing everyone's car in the parking lot. You'll be a hero. Remember to make sure that the help is really needed, to make sure that this is appropriate for the person, that they actually want your help. And also there is no expectation that you are going to get something back from your side. And do it with a smile, make sure that it's something you do wholeheartedly. If your love language is receiving this, then you feel loved when you're receiving some small presents, some token of attention. Here the focus is not on the size, it's not on the value of the gift, it's more the intention, it's the attention that the person has put to really understand you, the thought that they've put in understanding what matters to you right now. It can be as simple as a thoughtful note, it can be a token with just an engraving on it, it can be also something which is related to a memory that they've had, a very important memory for them. At work it can be a great way to motivate employee staff with just giving some simple rewards, some simple certificates that will show that you show attention and affection to them. It can also be a commemoration pen for the number of years in service, or just making sure that people are paid in time and also that they have a decent level of salary. That would be a good start. The trap to avoid here is to go for just buying something which is expensive, easy to find, but something which is not thought through, that does not show that you understand what the person needs. You want to show that you care for me? Then you can show some words of affirmation and like this video, and also make sure that you put the notifications on, subscribe to the channel if you want to receive more content like this every week. Don't forget to check in the description, there's other videos from other YouTubers about the same topic, about the 5 love languages and gifting these to others. If your love language is quality time, then you feel loved when people are ready to dedicate some time with you. Here it is about being deliberate about how you're going to spend this time with a person. It's good to plan in advance, to make sure that you're fully dedicated to the moment so there are no distractions and that you will need to be fully present in the moment. Finally, also show some affection during that time spent together. There are many ways you can do that. It can be simply a meal, a date night, going for a play together, any other shared entertainment that you will appreciate to do together. At work, it's thinking about the time that you want to spend with the people who need it the most. You can take them for lunch, you can take them for an activity outside of work, or you can simply just get in touch with people frequently. They might just like to hear from you frequently. How thought through is the time spent together here is how you know that it will have really a big impact on the person. If your love language is words of affirmation, then you feel loved when people are expressing words, expressing affirmations to you about how good you are. The intentions and emotions behind the words are what count the most here. So be real, be you. You can be expressing how proud you are of somebody, you can also express how much you care for them, how much you find yourself lucky to have them in your life, and even how much you like how they dress. At work, it can be thanking staff, colleagues for their contributions, for a specific job which has been done in a very good way. And you can also appreciate whatever they're wearing on a specific day. Words of affirmation are particularly impactful when they are very specific, so that people do not only know that you care for them, they also know the way that you care for them, what you care for them. If your love language is physical touch, then you feel loved when people show intimacy with you. This can be a bit tricky because the level of intimacy and what is needed is difficult to know in advance. The best way here is to ask the person what is the most appropriate intimacy to have with them. It can be as simple as holding hands, it can be a hug, or it can be just a tap on the shoulder. At work, the range is more limited and needs to be really carefully calibrated for what is permitted. And it's very different in different cultures. There are cultures where it's perfectly okay to be more intimate physically with people. In other cultures, it's a complete no-no. But maybe just a high five would work, or just, a knuckle rap and just a tap on the shoulder again. What do you think is a love language that you use the most for showing how you care to other people? It's your primary love language. And you might not notice that you're doing this because that's the most familiar thing for you to do. So start by knowing your love language so you understand what you're doing unto others to start with. And you can find that in the link below. There is a link to a test, which is a free test that you can take to discover your love language. And then spread it to others. The more people know their love language, the more we can actually understand each other's love language and care for each other in the best way possible. My primary love language is words of affirmation, and my secondary one is physical touch. So if we ever meet in person, you know what to do. Go and give better love to the people you care for, and get some proper love for yourself too. I'll see you next week for more personal finance and coaching on a cup of coffee.